Hello my viewers, Starstruck Shiny is back. If you're wondering where I've been, I'm also a college student, so I spend most of my time doing homework like a hikikomori. Anyways, if you want to see some of my most recent uploads, you can actually go to the Advanced League channel, where I've commentated a couple of matches. A couple of Gen 3 OU tournament matches, that is. Anyways, in this video, I'm trying out the new Legends ZA OU meta on Pokemon Showdown, and I'm showing you a team that I built off the cuff. By the way, I really suck at team building, and the only generations of OU I've played are Gen 3 and Gen 5. I'm gonna give you guys consent to tear me apart in the comments section of how poorly this team synergizes. As for the team itself, I have a Skarmory that sets up spikes and has a lot of special defense investment, and I thought I needed Iron Head for coverage against fairy types, but maybe Brave Bird would have been better. Next up is a Choice Scarf Greninja that aims to double as a revenge killer and a pivot. Its speed can outspeed base 80s at +1, and I might have not had the best coverage here. As you see, lots of people run Greninja in this metagame as of now. I think Galarian Slowking is also a good all-around wall, so I have a pivot set with Regenerator and some decent coverage, although it's not particularly strong. I recently did a draft league with Galarian Slowbro and I wasn't able to put it to good use, so... Legends ZA added Mega Electros, which is base 80 speed, so I thought it would be a decent mixed attacker. So I'm trying to run an Electivire-esque set with Giga Drain, Thunderbolt, Close Combat, and Flamethrower. Unfortunately, I cannot fit in Volt Switch. Right now it has a custom ability where it retains Levitate, but it also gets a 1.5 times boost to its special attacks. I thought it was going to be crazy strong, but what's it going to switch into? My 5th member is Clefable, and it has a pretty weird set, not gonna lie. Moonblast is its attacking option, and I wanted to combine Wish and Teleport to see what I could do with it. I know you can safely get another Pokemon in and take a huge Wish, and I thought Heal Bell would be good team support, but maybe I need more moves like Soft Boiled or Flamethrower. Last but not least is an Excadrill, not its Mega form sadly. I didn't know what item to give it, so I just gave it a Rocky Helmet. Apparently air balloons don't exist in Gen 9. Sand Rush is legal, so I can check any sand teams potentially, and I have a standard move set of Rapid Spin, Swords Dance, and Dual Stabs. As you'll see in the games, this team doesn't have a particularly strong defensive backbone, and it doesn't have the best setup sweepers. These games are all played on low ladder, which works for me because I don't really play newer generations of OU, where Stealth Rocks and Regenerators are the norm. But, let's see what happens. My opponent leads with Ariados and I lead with Skarmory, and I set up spikes. Ariados sets up Sticky Web in response. I decided to stay in to get more layers and see what she will do, and she actually tries to Mega Horn me. I'm very surprised. Well, I guess she doesn't have coverage for steals. I do get my 3rd layer of spikes, and Pocket Shock switches in Chandelure to threaten me out. This thing has a Mega Evolution, so I need to watch out for that. Luckily, I'm pretty sure it doesn't have Shadow Tag. Unfortunately, my team doesn't have very many switch-ins to fire type attacks, so I have to let Ninja Dave take a decent hit and have its Choice Scarf nullified. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Well, at the very least, nothing really wants to switch into a water type attack, so Pocket Shock has to sacrifice Ariados, and Water Shuriken doesn't really do that much. If I do get an opening, I can try to get Clefable to heal it up with a Wish. Skarmory is a safe switch into Ariados after all, so I can pivot in on a Mega Horn. Now I can sort of effectively Spike Shuffle with Roar. Here comes Hippowdon, and now the sand is up. It's just like Gen 3 OU all over again. Well, it can freely set up Stealth Rock here, but instead it goes for Curse. But I deny it with a Roar, and Ariados is now dead within 3 more layers of spikes. As a last stand, 1 layer of Toxic Spikes goes up. I Roar Hippowdon back in, which honestly doesn't really matter because Slack Off still exists. Iron Head just bounces off the Sand Setter, and apparently it has a Rocky Helmet, so I'm taking extra damage in addition to this body press. I also can't roost up because then Hippowdon takes me out with Earthquake. Honestly, I'm not expecting Permaspike to get this much momentum, but if I was on Highlighter, this would never be the case. Man, I wish I had Brave Bird. I could have used it to one-shot the Phalanx. I'm surprised Phalanx set up Swords Dance because I've been revealing a lot of Roars, so I chose to Iron Head it to chip it down, but that was a big mistake. Now I was frantically doing damage calculations trying to see what can take down this Phalanx, but unfortunately I was coming up short. Dan Grain would have been able to do something if it was at full health, but unfortunately I pivoted it into a close combat, and now it's in range of a knockoff. Also, Phalanx has a Mega Evolution, and it has a unique ability that's sort of like Parental Bond, where attacks hit 3 times, but the 2nd and 3rd hits are weak by comparison. Dan Grain goes down and I'm forced to switch into Greninja. I have to hope that a priority Water Shuriken is enough to KO it from this range. I click the attack, Protean changes my type, and 1, 2, dang it. It's over for me. Yeah, I just get swept here by close combat. I guess what I should have done was sacrifice something else so that Water Shuriken doesn't need 3 hits to KO, but by then I would have been really behind. I'm just so frustrated. That sweep shouldn't have happened in the first place. Why did Phalanx use a setup move against the Pokemon that clicked Roar? Anyways, I'm gonna stick to this team for the next battle. Uchiwahiro's team has many Pokemon that can Mega Evolve, and there's an interesting choice for a Carbink. Aegislash is also legal in this format, so this is probably going to be a game with a lot of hyper offense. I think my opponent should lead either Lopunny or Greninja. Lopunny also got a lot of buffs like access to Swords Dance and Mach Punch. Turns out the lead was Carbink, and I copied myself and lead with Permaspike. We start by trading hazards, also like last game, and I do threaten a lot of damage with Iron Head. It's a 2-hit KO, and Carbink also has a Rocky Helmet, and it sets up Light Screen. So I guess in this metagame, Carbink is one of those S-word leads where you set up a hazard, some screens, and explode, similar to Azelf in Gen 4 OU. I try to get up 3 layers of spikes, and Carbink's body press doesn't do a lot. Next turn, I decide to finally take out the Carbink and incur more Rocky Helmet damage. Greninja comes in to try to revenge kill, and I also don't have many good switch-ins to water moves. I want to keep Skarmory alive to get a 3rd layer of spikes and potentially punish Mega Lopunny, so I have Fairy Tail switch in, and oh, I forgot Greninja has access to Nasty Plot. Fortunately though, it has Surf and not Hydro Pump, so I cannot get 1-hit KO'd here. But Light Screen is still up, so I have to tickle it with Moonblast. Thank God Leftovers makes the second Surf a roll instead of a guaranteed KO. I guess Uchiwahiro can't keep their Greninja on the battlefield for another run, so it gets sacrificed. Such is the nature of hyper offense. But unfortunately for me, Feraligatr comes in. This can also Mega Evolve. And if I had Thunder Wave or Grass Knot or something, I could deliver a parting blow, but alas, I don't. I have no choice but to switch out. Interestingly, this Feraligatr does not Mega Evolve, it just sets up Dragon Dance. Oh, it actually does Mega Evolve next turn, and it goes for Dragon Claw, which is boosted by Feraligatr's Dragon's Maw ability, and this Sludge Wave doesn't really do much, unfortunately. I choose to sacrifice Clefable instead of Dan Grain because I think Slowking can do something after regenerating a couple times. Good thing my Greninja has just enough speed so that it can outspeed Feraligatr at +1 and go for a Dark Pulse. It's gone now, thank the lords. The only thing that can come in is Excadrill, threatening a Rapid Spin. I wonder if a team structure similar to this could have had a Rapid Spin blocker. There really isn't much I can do in this game state now except switch in Skarmory and hope I can keep spikes up. I don't have Drill Run to damage this Excadrill. I guess the spinner can't hit me for much, so Uchiwahiro switches in Aegislash as I roost up. Resetting spikes would be helpful marginally, but in spite of my special bulk, Aegislash still does a ton with Shadow Ball. Also, shouldn't Aegislash be minimum speed to capitalize on stance change? At this moment I'm kind of stonewalled, and I lost all of my momentum. Wait, I forgot to use Roar last time, now this time I outspeed the Aegislash with spikes. I can't stall out the Shadow Balls forever. Ghost is such a spammable attacking type even though Pursuit is in this format. I realize this and end up taking 2 Shadow Balls, as I phase the Lopunny in. This Iron Head was actually kind of a bad decision to be honest. I made the exact same mistake as last time too. If Lopunny was going to kill me with a fighting move then it would have done that already, and using Roar wouldn't have made a difference. But, like, these trainers aren't respecting the possibility of using Roar on a setup turn. I guess the moral of the story is that you can't really make predictions on low ladder. I'm definitely going to have to switch out now, though the sequence of pivots I was making allowed the Lopunny to get to -1 special defense, which I can take advantage of for sure. There's only one Pokemon that can come in now, and it's the almighty Ninja Dave. As I said earlier in the video, Lopunny can get Mach Punch, so I have to finish it off with a priority move even though I might outspeed with a Scarf. I just have to launch it. Let's go. 3 and 4. I did it! I lucked out this time. Now it's 4 on 2. Afterwards, I have nothing to switch into Shadow Ball, so I just sacrifice Bite Dance. It does take a couple of turns. Yeah, Mega Electros has 80 base speed, but like, Gen 9 is so power crept, there are so many Pokemon and Megas that have well over 100 base speed. I guess if I brought a Sticky Web team, I could potentially use it as a late game cleaner. But also, once again, I'm completely new to this format, and I might just not be using this Pokemon correctly. Please let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Now Excadrill finishes this game state off by clicking Earthquake a couple of times. Oh wait, their Excadrill finishes me off with an Earthquake. Now how am I gonna win? So yeah, so far this team has a 50% win rate. I guess I'll take it considering I've built this team in a couple of minutes and I haven't really played this format before. I'm not sure if I'll make another video on this format even though it would be nice. Though maybe if I have a totally free weekend I could live stream doing this while yapping. I played one more game in this sitting and it's a bit longer than the other two. This time I put Mega Gyarados over Mega Electros as a water type check and a Dragon Dance sweeper. And Metagame has 3 Pokemon that can Mega Evolve, including the Kalos first partner Pokemon and Dragonite. I think Aegislash would be a good lead here, and maybe Greninja as well. Oh, a Trevenant lead. I was not expecting that. What's it gonna do? Well, this is why I brought U-Turn. Perma Spike, come in, and start setting up spikes. I pivot him nicely on the Horn Leech here. Spikes is all but guaranteed, and Trevenant uses Curse. Interesting. And uses its Citrus Berry, and harvests one more. I've never seen this synergy before. Is it a noob trap strat or competitively viable? Also, once again, if I didn't have Iron Head, this would have been a much easier matchup. You're in charge, Fairy Tail. Guard against Trevenant's Leech Seed and Curses. I attempt to use Wish, but Hornleech does so much damage, and it's not like Moonblast is going to kill him at all. Skarmory takes the Wish next turn, but it gets knocked off. This is going to be brutal in a long game. My opponent might win the war of attrition here. Iron Head plus Curse damage almost takes him out, but 2 Citrus Berries brings him back to half health. Now what do I do? Well, I switch back into Fairy Tail, but Trevenant predicts the switch. Well, I guess I'm just going to have to take damage on Dan Grain and try to threaten it with Flamethrower. And oh, Pedaz switches into Aegislash on the Flamethrower. That's got to be pretty unfortunate, but it only does 39% anyway. Question, why did she go for Shadow Sneak? Did she not have a stronger ghost move? I know that's a possibility if you're running Swords Dance, but still. Well, Flamethrower finished off that former Uber. A Fairy Tail of Pedaz's own enters the battlefield, and maybe this is a calm mindset to sit on Dan Green's weak special attacks? I had a feeling Clefable was going to try to neutralize me with Thunder Waves, so I decided to switch into Silver Lining the Excadrill. I don't really have much of a reason to predict, so I just did the safe play and clicked Iron Head, and Trevenant got below Citrus range just now. Never mind, he didn't have one on hand. Yeah, that was kind of unfortunate. Now Pedaz Gaming has to sacrifice the Trevenant. Good for me though, now I don't have to deal with its antics. Greninja comes in to try to revenge kill. Where have I seen this before? I switch in my new water check Gyarados. Everyone say hello to tier 1. And Greninja, once again, sets up Nasty Plot. I Mega Evolve right away, take a decent amount from Dark Pulse, and use Thunder Wave to neutralize the ninja. I like how the Mega Greninja sprite kind of looks like Ralsei from Deltarune. That is a nice touch, and it gets my seal of approval. With that aside, Clefable has to come in to take Greninja's place, and it was certainly not expecting me to whip out a Power Whip. Both of us make a good mid-ground plays on this turn. I switch in my Fairy Tail, and Clefable uses Moonblast. Although my Clefable theoretically couldn't do anything because 2 Moonblasts take it out and I still don't have Soft Boiled. It goes for Thunder Wave though. I am fortunate. And she goes for it again. Can't have too much paralysis in this world, I guess. Well, Fairy Tail lives to see a couple more turns. On this turn, we just both use Wish. Yeah, I think we're kind of stuck in a stalemate right now. The worst that can happen is Pedaz Gaming gets Dragonite in for free or Mega Greninja gets some HP back. I decided to get my Galarian Slowking paralyzed, and the yellow magic is already starting to hax me as Clefable gets Stealth Rocks for free. Oops, I skipped a turn by accident while editing. Well, that didn't matter. I just got paralyzed again. Clefable can also fish for special attack drops even though Moonblast doesn't really do much. Yeah, I think I just have to switch out. Clefable is going to use Wish and I'm just going to use Chilly Reception. I've never used this move before. Well, I'm going to have to pivot to something. I probably should have pivoted to Excadrill, not gonna lie. I desperately try to flinch with Iron Head, and Thunder Wave missed. Oh my god, I got lucky. Oh wait, it wished on the previous turn. Well, I'm gonna have to get even more luck with Iron Head. The second Thunder Wave does hit me. I guess I could stall for a little bit longer, but I think Clefable will still win the stall war. I guess I can get my 3 layers of spikes for the Delphox, assuming it doesn't have the boots. You can start seeing signs of desperation on my end. I keep trying to chip the fairy down with Iron Head, and now I resort to roaring. Once again, this Greninja is trying to set up on my Skarmory's face, but I get lucky and roar again. And here comes the big threat Dragonite. It immediately attacks with Fire Punch, and I get fully parried. Well, this is gonna spell disaster, isn't it? Why did I preserve my Skarmory? I switched into Gyarados forgetting it has Mold Breaker instead of Intimidate, giving Dragonite a free setup turn. Well, I threw away my Mega Pokemon for nothing. What a wonderful sight to see. Now I'm wondering who to switch into. Dangrain, you try to do something. My best attack is Sludge Wave, and Dragonite goes first, and yes! I get the poison! It was a 10% chance. Well, it's on a timer, but what do I do now? I think I just have to sacrifice someone. How about my Skarmory? This Dragonite has leftovers. I am not a fan of this. Fairy Tail, what can you do? Its strongest attack against me is Extreme Speed, and I can take 2 of those, and I need to dodge 1 full paralysis. Are you freaking kidding me? Well, I guess Dragonite got even from the poison, but still. Moonblast should still kill from very low HP. Wait, no it doesn't, but Fairy Tail is death fodder anyway. So does it really matter? On the double down I correctly predict the Clefable entry and I send in Excadrill. I think this Excadrill cannot be damaged by Clefable significantly, so this endgame should still be my oyster. I can nail either Delphox or Greninja switching in by clicking Earthquake, but Pedaz decides to commit to sacking Clefable, getting some damage in with Moonblast. Oh well, I guess Greninja gets a little bit more luck in its favor if it has Water Shuriken. I decide not to take the risk and switch in Dangrain, and Greninja goes for Surf. Finally, Paralysis is working in my favor. Now I can beat this Greninja down with Sludge Wave. On the next turn I commit to sacking Dangrain, and it uses Dark Pulse. Not that it really matters because my Greninja can outspeed. I don't actually worry about the opposing Greninja using Water Shuriken, so I just go straight for Dark Pulse, which will also hit Delphox super effectively. And there goes the battle. Based on these 3 games, it didn't really seem like I got the full experience of this metagame. For the most part, it seems like I was playing a modern gen of OU, though the threat list is different now with all these new Mega Pokemon. If you guys want to see me try more Mega Pokemon, please let me know. Maybe I'll continue the series. By the time this video's out, there's probably a centralized meta almost ready to develop, so like everyone knows what works and what doesn't, and climbing such a ladder would be easier. I hope you guys liked this video. This is different from what I normally make, but I thought this metagame was fun to explore. As usual, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and keep it fresh!